Today on the Commanders Report, we've got some major Commanders injury updates here just in time for Week 1 versus the Arizona Cardinals. Going to be talking about Chase Young and Terry McLaurin and their status for this week's game against Arizona. And then also, the Commanders have signed Jamison Crowder. He is back, baby. I'm going to be breaking down his profile and why this might be the most deep wide receiver room in the National Football League right now. And then also, the Arizona Cardinals have named their starting quarterback. It's going to be Joshua Dobbs here in Week 1. I'm going to tell you why I'm not so afraid of Joshua Dobbs later on in today's show, so make sure you stick around to the end. But before we get into today's news and rumors action, get in the comments section and let me know to kick off today's show. Who is the best player on the Washington Commanders roster right now? Is it Sam Howell? Is it Terry McLaurin? Is it maybe Cam Curl? Is it Emmanuel Forbes? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Who's going to be the best player on the Commanders roster in 2023? Now let's get into Terry McLaurin here and his injury update, which is that his status for Week 1 is still up in the air. Despite practicing on Wednesday in pads, he did run a couple of routes. He looked pretty decent, if I do say so myself, but it is still up in the air because he's still dealing with that turf toe that he got in Week 2 of the preseason versus the Baltimore Ravens. And honestly, man, I think you got to keep things in perspective when you're looking at Terry McLaurin here. I mean, of course, Scary Terry, he wants to be out there. He wants to play. He wants to get that production here that's going to potentially come if he plays in this game because the Cardinals' defense sucks. But you don't really want to risk his long-term health here if you're Ron Rivera and the Washington Commanders coaching staff because you need him for the rest of this season. So if he's not 100% ready to go, or at least 90%, I would probably sit him because I like the depth here of this Commanders wide receiver depth chart right now. I think Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and De'Ami Brown, those three guys could definitely hold their own if Terry McLaurin is not on the field here in Week 1. I do think that the talent differential here between the Commanders and Cardinals roster is pretty darn wide at this point going into the week, so I don't think you necessarily need Terry McLaurin on the field to win this week. But hey, if he's 90 to 100% ready to go, I say go ahead and play him. But let me know what you guys think. If Terry McLaurin is only 90% healthy here going into Week 1, should Ron Rivera play him or sit him? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Type P if you would play him, or type R if you would rest him. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. And now let's get into Chase Young. And there's, he was in pads as well on Wednesday. So, you get Scary Terry and Chase Young back in pads for those individual periods on Wednesday's practice. But at this point, Chase Young still isn't cleared for full contact here before this Week 1 matchup. And it's going to be interesting to see if he gets cleared before Sunday. He did tell the media post-practice on Wednesday that he's good to go and he expects to play on Sunday, and I believe him. I think that he's going to end up being on the field here in Week 1 because this is really a make-or-break year for Chase Young. He's going to be trying to get that massive extension to stay here with the Washington Commanders, who took him number 2 overall back in 2020. And, I think that you still want to play it relatively safe with Young, but if he's 90, even 80% ready to go and he wants to be out there, if I'm Ron Rivera, I'm putting him out there because I want to see what this kid can do. I want to see every single opportunity to see Chase Young play this year so I can make the best possible decision on his future with this organization because I think he's going to be fantastic this year. I think he's been looking explosive in training camp. It kind of sucks he's been dealing with that stinger all preseason, but I think that he's about ready to get things going, and it's going to be a really nice 2023 campaign for Mr. Chase Young. Now, coming up here on the Commanders Report, I'm going to be talking about the recent signing of slot wide receiver Jamison Crowder to the practice squad. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor at BetUS, and they're offering you guys a fantastic deal just in time for the start of the 2023 season for the NFL. A 125% deposit bonus when you go chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125. And what that essentially means is if you put a deposit on the BetUS website from $100 to $600, they're going to match that 125% and give that back to you to use on your bet. So if you put in $100, they're going to give you $125 additional dollars to use on your bets. And of course, the more money you deposit, the more money you get back. And why not use that money on this week's matchup versus the Arizona Cardinals? Right now, the Commanders are a touchdown favorite over Arizona. And then also the over-under there is 38. Personally, my score prediction for this week's game was 30-10 Commanders. So I'm going to be betting the over this week. Just take that with a grain of salt. Maybe you want to follow my opinion. Maybe you don't, but no matter what you want to do here, you can go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125 to get that 125% deposit bonus today. All right, so Jamison Crowder, 2015 fourth-round pick for then the Washington Redskins, is now back with the Commanders practice squad here. And listen, Jamison is somebody that has been with this organization before. He's been a starter with this team before. And, of course, drafted back in 2015 in the fourth round, was here until the 2018 season. But the thing with Jamison is that he's never finished a season without an injury. He's never been able to stay healthy throughout his 8-year career, and now he's going into year 9 of his career, and it's just looking like, he's starting to go on the lower side here. He's starting to get a little bit more cooked here towards the end of his career. And right now, he's just on the practice squad. He's still fighting for his NFL life. And honestly, I think that adding him to this roster here, he's not on the 53 right now, but this is one of the deepest wide receiver depth charts in the National Football League, where if like a De'Ami Brown or a Dax Milne or Byron Pringle, if you get multiple injuries to this team right here, I think I feel very, very good about putting Jamison Crowder on the 53-man roster. And wide receiver is absolutely not a problem for Ron Rivera, Eric Bieniemy, and the Washington Commanders offense here going into 2023. Now, if you want to welcome Jamison Crowder back to the Washington football franchise here, type JC to welcome him back. Spam it down there in the comments section if you're excited for Crowder being back in the burgundy and gold. All right, so now it's about damn time, man. We've been waiting for the announcement of who the Arizona Cardinals are going to start versus the Washington Commanders in Week 1. We were wondering after the release of Colt McCoy, their presumed starter, whether it was going to be Joshua Dobbs or whether it was going to be Clayton Tune, the fifth-round rookie out of Houston. And they have officially now said it's going to be Joshua Dobbs. Now, I am not afraid of Joshua Dobbs whatsoever. Now, I might be slightly more scared of Dobbs than I am of Clayton Tune, who looked absolutely atrocious in the 2023 preseason, at least in my opinion. But overall, man, you look at those career numbers, less than 60% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He's a decent runner of the football, but definitely not dynamic. I'm not scared whatsoever of Joshua Dobbs going into this week, especially with how good the Washington Commanders defense is going to be expected to be here going into the 2023 campaign. Definitely not scared of this guy, man. And before we go here, I do want to go over the team captains for the Washington Commanders that were announced earlier this week. There is 6 of them. Sam Howell is among them here as the quarterback of this team. Terry McLaurin, Jonathan Allen, Kendall Fuller, Jeremy Reeves, the special team specialist, and Tress Way are your 6 team captains here for your Washington Commanders. And that's going to be it for me today, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. Make sure you click that subscribe button for free and daily Commanders content. We're going to be having post-game coverage on Sunday, so make sure you subscribe to never miss those kinds of videos. I'll see you guys later. That'll be it for me today. And until next time, hail to the Commanders.